Welcome to the Sam's podcast TSP. I am Sam, and my goal is to create a better marketing strategy to build a sustainable and scalable business. I interview world class marketing and sales leaders, founders, CEO, and influencers to learn about their hard earning experiences in building and growing their personal and professional brands. Today, my guest is Ajay. Ajay is one of the prominent leaders and CEO at GMAS, a node email marketing company that focuses on delivering the highest open rates for Gmail. He holds 20 plus years of experience in software development. He will mainly discuss how email personalization can wonder and grow your business, especially during the holiday season. 1. Understand and discuss the secret behind how to send emails to the inbox for the ratchet promotion one. 2. How to avoid landing an email in spam folders. 3. What actually happens in the whole process when someone sends an email to receive an email. 4. What are the things that you need to keep in mind when you send an email. 5. Highlights the key points.
So, hey Ajay, welcome to the call. And in today's episode, we will discuss more about how personalization in the email can wonder your business, especially in the holiday season. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Ajay. Please go through yourself and talk more about your company, and then your growth, everything.
Sure. I've been in the email software development business for more than 20 years now. This
Wow.
is my second major email platform that I've built and ran. The first one I started in 2002, so about 20 years ago, and grew that for 10 years and then sold it to a private equity firm. I never thought I would end up back in the email marketing platform business again, but something happened in 2014 that pulled me back into the industry. And
Okay.
what that thing that happened is that I was paying attention to just what was going on in software development and API development.
Yeah.
And that was the year that Gmail came out with an API for the first time. So I just felt this like pull towards wanting to build an integrated solution for Gmail. I had been experimenting with building Chrome extensions, and then this API was released. And so I just felt this like burning desire to build what is now GMAS, which is a way to send email campaigns inside Gmail.
Okay.
So it's a very different kind of methodology for sending your email campaigns than your traditional tools like MailChimp and Constant Contact and iContact and some of the original email marketing platforms. When I first built GMAS, I didn't even know, or I'm not even sure the concept of cold email really existed, which is the idea of sending this sequence of emails
Sequences.
to
Yeah.
a warm list of contacts, hoping to get a response or hoping to get some kind of engagement with the recipient. So
Mm-hmm.
that feature set wasn't the original concept of GMAS, but it's kind of what GMAS became because
Mm-hmm.
of the user demand, because that's what users really wanted, and that was that is now our biggest segment of customers is people doing usually sales outreach,
Yeah.
or any kind of prospecting.
Yeah, it play major role in the any sales process.
But I'm a technical person mostly. I have a software
Okay.
development background, so I understand from a 360-degree perspective how platforms work and
Works.
the tricks they use to get emails delivered, and so yeah, that's kind of
Wow,
a
that's it. I
synopsis
understand.
of
I
my
completely
background.
understand. I completely understand. So, for non-tech people like me, so what we understand, email is something that okay, you are just sending email, and then someone is receiving. So that's only two
Yeah.
people or two element that play important role. But at the back end, there are plenty of things going on. For example, like, going from here to the server, and then, that distribute from there, and then checking whether that should the email is validated or not. It's going through a lot of process, and then it delivered to the. So I'm still like, I have certain idea on those things, but not in detail, because I'm learning those things as well, where how the email will be delivered to the inbox, right? So that's one of the biggest problem in the industry. It's like, everyone wants to send email, but that go to the promotion, right? No, it's not into go to the inbox. So
Right.
that's a biggest challenge for everyone, right? So do you have
Actually,
any? I'm
promotions.
curious to know about, like, more about you. That what are the best way to get email in inbox?
Sure, sure. Well, so first, I want to say that landing in the promotions folder isn't actually so bad. And the reason it's not so bad is because, one, a lot of Gmail users don't even have that segmentation turned on where their inbox is broken down into inbox, promotions, and social. Um, that's an option. And especially if you're
Yeah,
using Gmail for your
got it.
organization, which is Google Workspace, uh,
Hmm.
your administrator decides whether your inbox has that organization system or not. So landing in promotions is not a death sentence. Lots of people will still see your
Okay.
email even if you land in promotions. However, landing in spam is sort of a death sentence. So that's truly what you want to avoid. And it actually takes some effort to land in spam. I mean, your email will only land in spam if you've done something egregious. So if your sending domain has a particularly poor reputation, you might land in spam.
Yeah.
Or if your email fails the basic authentication checks, and there are three of those, SPF, DKIM, and
We
DMARC,
can. Yeah, Rima.
then you'll land in spam.
Correct.
And Gmail, which is, and I keep referring to Gmail because it's the biggest email platform in the
Yeah,
world for
because more
consumers.
than 80% people are using. So yeah, it's definitely.
Gmail will even tell you why your email landed in spam because they'll put a message at the top. Now, sometimes that message is very general, and sometimes it's more specific. And in the cases where it's more specific, you can actually figure out what to do to get out of the spam folder. So for example, it might say messages from this domain. It might say this message is classified as spam because other messages from this
Yeah,
domain
yeah.
were classified as spam. And so then you have a reputation problem with your domain.
Okay.
So anyway, the first step is just to pay attention. If you're stuck in the spam folder, is to pay attention to that message. But then really, a lot of times it comes down to performing some trial and error to figure out how to get into the inbox. I've been testing emails for 20 years, and sometimes it can come down to like one word in the subject line. There's actually some really good content about how Google uses these deep learning, machine learning systems that analyze over 1 million data points in your email message to make that
Yes.
determination of where does the email fall: inbox, promotions, social, spam, updates. And so there's so much that's analyzed to ultimately make what's a really simple decision. Where do I place this email? And so there's no silver bullet. I've found that there's a lot of email platforms that will publish content on their blog where they'll give you 10 guaranteed steps to stay out of the spam folder, or 10 guaranteed steps to get to the inbox. It's all BS because nothing is so simple. No anti-spam filter algorithm these days in 2022 is that simple. Any modern email platform is doing stuff that algorithmically is so complex that it's unlikely that any email platform has truly cracked the code of what determines an email's placement. it's like kind of a combination of art and science. You have to play with your text to image ratio. You have to play with your actual written content.
Correct.
Sometimes it could be an issue with your HTML, something that is never even exposed to the user, because your message can be rendered, the same message can be rendered in HTML in multiple ways.
Yes.
So one, don't send spam. Oftentimes we'll get a user who says, "Hey, my emails are landing in spam. What's wrong?" And I'll go into their account and I'll look at the content they're sending, and they're truly sending spam. And of course, as the CEO of an email platform, it puts me in a difficult position, because I can't say, "Well, I looked at your account and you're sending spam, so I think Google's doing it right." Because
Correct.
what everyone ultimately wants to do is to try to trick Google. They want to trick Gmail.
Yes.
And that's getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah, I completely got it. Got it. All right, fine. So now I'm curious about the email in decentralized app, because that's something that is going to be, boom in the coming years, right? I have some friend, I don't know whether you know, but like there is some platform like Skip, skiff.com, which is a very new platform, and they build the kind of email system where it's like kind of Gmail, but it's completely different than others, and they are based. They created based on the decentralized app, like the. So let's say if you want to, maybe it's completely encrypted, end to end encrypted, right? So I'm sure like even Google is also encrypted, but they are doing something different than like what Google is doing, and it's doing really great nowadays. So if you're coming to the sequencing email, the second part which is about sequencing, right? So email sequencing is really great, but do you think that the putting automation will again will send email to the spam, or maybe on the promotion, because that's something that they are using templates, right? Similar kind of words, similar kind of the format that people are using in the sequences, right? So do you think that will be a good idea to put everything with the sequence rather than customizing, or manually sending emails?
Yeah. I was just looking at Skiff. I hadn't heard of that before. I actually thought you were going to mention something else when you mentioned end-to-end encrypted email. I thought you were going to mention the bigger player in that space, which is Proton Mail.
Proton mail, yeah, I know Proton mail.
Um,
Yes.
but anyways, I'll check out Skiff. So you brought up an interesting point, because in the early days of cold email, when the reason sequences were so powerful was because from the recipient's end, it gives the impression that the sender is actually like manually following up. Very few people knew that there were platforms that were automating the sequence. So when you get an original email asking you a question or asking you to engage, you might think that that was sent by some mass email software. But when you
Yeah.
get that follow-up, which is usually a reply to that original email, then you think, "Oh man, this person really wants to get in touch with me. There's a real live person behind this. Now I'll respond."
Mhm.
But because everybody gets pitched by cold email now, that magic touch, that feeling that it's a real person is fading away. And so
Yeah.
your best chances of success with cold email are to pitch someone that doesn't receive a lot of cold email. Now,
Okay.
I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum, just because of the nature of what I do. I get cold email like all day, all night, every single day. And so I know that not a single person is actually hand typing these follow-ups to me.
Yeah.
Now,
Understood.
in terms of how that relates to filtering, so here's what we've seen in recent months. So I have not seen filters aggressively punish sequences, just the fact that they're sequences. But what we are seeing is that because people are now conditioned to see these sequences that are all threaded in the same conversation. And because people are becoming attuned to realizing that that's sent by software, we're seeing people send their sequences in separate threads instead of the same thread. And what I mean by that is if I send a list of prospects an email, and in my first email I say, hey, I have this hot new software that I think your company should buy. Can we set up a demo? Please respond if we can set up a demo. And then traditionally, my second email would be a reply to that email saying, hey, how come I haven't heard from you? And then my next follow-up email would be like, hey, if I'm bothering you, let me know. Now, people will send those in separate threads with separate subject lines because it creates more of an intrigue. Because now the recipient thinks, oh, do I know this person? Have I heard from them before? And they might actually go and search their inbox for that sender to see what their prior communication has been. So that's one thing we've seen, but we have not seen spam filters punish emails for being sent in sequences. One thing that has happened just in the last couple of weeks is Google has clamped down on this concept of email warm-up. So there's this concept of email warm-up, which is big in the cold email community, where people using some sort of warm-up automation tool send emails back and forth between accounts in order to make it look like that account is sending and receiving natural emails, because people want to build up the reputation of an account quickly so that they can get their emails sent quickly from a particular Google account. Warm-up has been going on for a couple of years in the industry, and Google just sent a notice to all the email warm-up platforms threatening to take away their access to users' Gmail accounts if they don't shut their warm-up systems down.
Okay.
So the idea of the warm-up system was to try to game the spam filter, to try to trick the spam filter into thinking that an account has a higher reputation than it does.
Okay.
Are you
Got it?
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Yes. I heard about it, and even in the past, like my last startup, so we did quite good or cold emails and a lot of things together. So, and even ABM, if you talk about ABM, like account-based marketing, so it's definitely not a cold email, but we know the person whom we are sending email. So even we connect with them before we sending email, like on the LinkedIn or maybe some other platform. And so we mainly send detailed information by email, not just cold email that, okay, hi, hello, that's nothing like that.
Sure.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm sure like the analytics and the AI, which play very well especially in the customization, right? So how do you think that what will be the feature of AI, like use of AI in the email, like because everyone wants to use AI, like even Google, right? So Google started using like AI, machine learning in the email, where they recommend a lot of things, a lot of automation can be done, like just one click reply, like you don't have to type anything, right? So so that's just I don't think that's a big AI things working there, but if you look at large scale, so what do you think, like what will be the future of AI in the email?
Well, so as you said, I think you're probably referring to like their email composition features, where with their smart reply they'll try to figure out what you're intending to type before you type it.
Yes.
So
that's
AI,
just a small work. That's
right,
just small things that Google has done, but there are a lot of things that need to be done, I think, because AI is not something that what's going on right now. There is a lot of research can be done and a lot of things can be done in the AI side, right? So what are the next few things that you suppose that okay, this should be done in a email?
So I feel like the term AI is often thrown around as a marketing angle to claim that a software is using AI to do something when it's not actually AI.
Yes.
But one of the area where it's the most relevant and it could have the most impact for email marketers is in the realm of personalization. So, personalization in email has been around, since the beginning of email marketing. At the most basic level, personalization is sticking your prospect's first name in the body of the email. But where AI can be used is like, and probably the email marketer that is the best at personalization is Amazon. And Amazon is likely using like their own constructed AI algorithms to determine what content to send to each recipient. And the protocols of email are pretty established. Like how email works on the technical backend is established, and that's not going to change for email. So there's really nothing to do AI wise in terms of an email marketing sending email, an email marketer sending email. Now, Google is certainly using AI and machine learning for filtering email. So that's been going on for years. But from the email marketer's standpoint, their best chance of taking advantage of AI to improve their own results is using AI to determine what content to send each prospect based on that prospect's entire history, based on that prospect's relationship with the organization. So what they've purchased in the past, what they've considered purchasing in the past, what they've left in their shopping cart, and using the entire data set of their history that can be found online. It's not a very commonly used thing right now because it's pretty complex, and I haven't seen a lot of platforms that do all of this pretty well. But that would be like if AI were to be taking advantage of an email in email marketing, that's how it would be used.
Okay. Do you use AI in Zmash or maybe Mailmerge?
No, so I cannot claim that we're using AI to do anything inside GMass. But interestingly enough, some of the things that we wouldn't apply the label AI to, you might find that others that have a similar feature set are saying that they're AI based, and that's just because of the abuse of that term. GMass started out as a low volume email campaign sending tool. So because we're integrated with Gmail, you can only send a certain number of emails per day and sometimes even per hour. So it has evolved though into a full-blown platform where you could send a campaign to 1 million people. But no, I mean, we've like our focus technologically has been, I mean, I feel like we've invented like certain features, but I don't want to claim AI into anything we've done recently.
Okay. Do you have analytics tool on place? It is just like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, with email, there's a basic set of analytics for any campaign that involves that includes open tracking, click tracking, unsubscribe tracking, bounce tracking, reply tracking, and blocking tracking. And then really what differentiates one platform from the other is how well that information is presented and how much that information can be used to your advantage. So can you then take that information and segment your list based on the past behavior of your prospects? So I want to send a follow-up email to just the people that clicked a link in my last email, or I want to send a follow-up email to just the people that replied to an email in my last email. And then the better platforms, not only will they allow you to do that, but they'll allow you to build a complex rule set based on a prospect's entire history with you. So, send an email to the people that have overall been the most engaged in the last year with my content. And that can be across the open reply and click tracking metrics. It's worth noting, however, that the metric that email marketers have relied on the longest to gauge their deliverability and success is going away, and that's open tracking. Open tracking is becoming less and less reliable because more and more email platforms are figuring out how to either block open tracking altogether or send so much fake data to it that it can't be used. So the biggest news in that world recently was when Apple released their mail privacy protection feature over a year ago. And what that basically did is it triggers an open for every single email. So now the email marketer doesn't know what's a real email, what's a real open versus a fake open.
Open was, yeah, correct. That's correct. That's correct. All right, great. So, how many people are working like in GMAS, and how big team is?
Yeah, the team is about 15 people.
Okay, and I would like to ask one very interesting question. Is like, how did you get your first 100 customers? What are the strategy that you use to acquire those customers?
Sure. So, boy, we're taking you're taking me back 7 years now. So there were two things that I did that brought in our first batch of users. One, I posted what I had built on Reddit. There was a subreddit called there was a subreddit called Startup. So Reddit
I
slash
know,
startup.
I know, I know. I engaged over there many times.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I posted what I had built there, and it ended up being the number one thread on the page for about 48 hours. So that got me one batch of users. And then within a few days of that, I had also posted GMass on Product Hunt, which is a site where software developers post what they've built. And I didn't end up number one on Product Hunt, but I think I ended up like number 3. And that brought in a lot of traffic too. And both of those things happened within a couple of weeks. And so that's where my first 100 users came from.
I got it. I read somewhere, like I already read it about Reddit, like Zma's story on the Reddit or something. I read it. Product and I don't know. Okay, great. All right, fine. And what is your like future plan? Where do you want to go?
There's two big initiatives I'm working on right now. One is building integrations with external platforms. So that means targeting users of CRM platforms like Salesforce and HubSpot, so that you can use GMass and connect to those other platforms in a native fashion. Right now, there's all these API kind of middleman tools like Zapier and Integromat that will connect two applications together. But we're building native integrations so that you can be a GMass user and a Salesforce user and use GMass to pull your leads and contacts from Salesforce without using any third-party middleman tool. And then the next area that I'm kind of excited to dive into is to, we have, because we've had our platform for 7 years, we've collected lots and lots of data, like a treasure trove of data on what people are sending, what kind of emails result in the most replies and clicks. And one of my initiatives for 2023 is to mine that data and to have a data scientist like go through like terabytes and terabytes of data to arrive at conclusions or to find patterns and trends, and then publish those patterns and trends to help other email marketers.
Wow, that's good.
Because
do send me, do send me as well. Whenever you're done.
Right. And actually, that ties back into your question about how AI can be used in email.
Yeah. Yes. That's my next. Like
asked,
again, my the same questions that I supposed to ask, but okay, you can continue with So the AI will be, will play a very important role in this, right?
Yeah. Initially, I was thinking about more singularly from the end email marketer's role, but this is probably a good application of AI for the email marketer as well.
Yeah. Yes. Data is the fuel. Now I have a few questions, which is like just one line question, and you just need to answer maybe in one sentence or maybe one line, whatever you want.
Right.
So who inspire you most?
So growing up, it was my father, because he was also a software developer.
Great. All right. And when you are not at work, what do you do?
I play tennis.
How do you celebrate your success?
I rarely celebrate success. I have this mentality that I don't want to rest on my laurels and that I want to keep looking forward. I don't.
Interesting. And what is your top 5 suggestions for the beginner who are really wanted to either start email marketing? Because on our platform there are people who are beginner, there are people who are at mid level, and there are business decision maker, right? So most of time, like people who are beginner, they really wanted to understand how these things work. And what I know is that Zima play a very important role at beginning when you start something. Let's say if you want to automate certain things, if you want to verify the email, you want to try something, so it play very important. You have plenty of features to support those activities, right? So what is your key, maybe 3 or 4 point which can help beginners?
Personalize your content.
Okay.
Make sure your authentication is set up correctly. Send campaigns consisting of only text. Verify your email list and start small. Meaning,
Yeah,
if you have a list of 1 million, don't send to all million for the first time. Send 100 and then see how that works first.
Okay, great, got it. And last questions. If somebody wanted to connect with you, what are the best way to connect?
Twitter, email, LinkedIn. My email address is my first name, AJAY, at wordzen.com, WORDZEN.
Okay.
And on Twitter, I'm part-time snob. Those are the 2 easiest ways, Twitter and email.
Okay, great. All right, fine. So Ajay, nice talking to you, and thanks for joining us today. Really nice talking to you.
You too, Sam.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Lauren, for arranging everything. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Sounds
Bye-bye.
good. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.